After discussing tight ends, ranking the top 5 of this position group under Nick Saban at Alabama prior to taking the break, we are back on the hottest show, hottest form of conversation for Alabama football. You already know what it is. You have tuned live to In My Own Words, the podcast, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen M. Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I like to start off with this. If you're an Alabama football fan, you're a diehard fan, love that Tide, love Nick Saban, and you want to know the best in information, the best in analysis, the best in commentary, the best in highlights, if you want to know why is Nick Saban's hair color yellow, you have to check out Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube. Check out the YouTube page, subscribe to the channel, like the podcast, like the videos, leave comments, thoughts, concerns. We want to hear from you, the Alabama football fans. Also, check out the magazine, tdalabamamag.com. tdalabamamag.com, where we break down the Crimson Tide in all forms. Practice recaps, game recaps, press conferences, highlights, updates. You want it, you got it. tdalabamamag.com. That and the Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube site. Two things, Alabama fans, you've got to get your hands on. I'm going to save my comments on what I thought of Jalen Hurts addressing the media at the open practice for the next segment. Got a special guest coming on that is going to help me with that. You don't want to miss it. But to bring on this topic, as far as on the field goes at the open practice, not much happened. Not a lot of things stood out to me, but there were 5 players that I watched, that I did circle, that I did underline, that I did highlight to let me know that these particular 5 guys are going to be impact marquee players in the upcoming season. Starting this off with my first guy, I underlined, highlighted, circled, redshirt freshman quarterback Mac Jones. For a lot of people, the main thought process has been it's Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. That's the main attraction. That's the entree. That's the 5-course meal. No one cares about the little appetizer known as Mac Jones. You better appreciate that appetizer, because I'm going to tell you why. Mac Jones is playing the game of quarterback the way it's designed to be played. Fun, carefree, passionate, confident, excitement, without a care in the world. That man is having fun out there. And he's starting to really chirp. When I look at Mac Jones, he's got a lot of those A.J. McCarron-esque qualities. When A.J. McCarron would score a touchdown pass, you would see him flail his hands in the air, run down the field, jump up and down, jump on a teammate's back, dap up a teammate. That's what A.J. McCarron did. And a lot of those self-same things Mac Jones is doing. Damian Harris and Jones have a very great relationship. They like to refer to each other as father and son. Pretty cool there. Got a chance to talk with Damian Harris at Southeastern Conference Media Days. He mentioned when Mac Jones finally gets his chance, he is going to be something special. And ever since the A-Day game, he's been chirping, he's been staking his claim on the field. I remember in the 2017 spring game, folks thought this guy was a walk-on. They didn't believe he was a scholarship quarterback. This guy came in the same recruiting class as Tua Tagovailoa. I know he's been overshadowed by Tua. I know he's been overshadowed by Jalen and Tua as a whole. Got a chance to speak with Mac's family a number of times. They've said, Steven, Mac's here trying to get that education. Mac's here trying to get his weight in order, his physical build in line. Max here just trying to learn the system, trying to have fun. His time will come. Well, as his time's coming, he is making the most out of every opportunity. At the open practice, there was a stretch where this guy went 12 for 12, including 2 touchdown passes, an array of back shoulder throws, timing routes. The man was lasering darts out there. And every time, dapping up a teammate, dancing, hitting the chest bump, having the time of his life on the field. Watch out for Mac Jones. He's confident. This is the same guy that took his high school team, the Bowles High School, a private school, Jacksonville, Florida, and led that group to a Class 4A state title as a senior in 2016. Young man can flat out play. All substance, all steak. No smoke and mirrors about this kid. It's the real deal. Mac Jones stood out to me. It's my number 1 guy right there. Moving on to the number 2 guy that impressed me at the open practice, defensive lineman Quintin Williams. Showed a lot of power through the bag drill. Showed a lot of power in the pass rush drills. Almost knocked Craig Kulagowski, defensive line coach, down a couple of times within those drills. I mentioned on a prior podcast when I discussed the position battles aside from quarterback that will be interesting. Defensive tackle, one of those spots. Alabama, a lot of depth at that position despite losing Daron Payne to the National Football League. It returns Johnny Dwight, Fadarian Mathis. Of course, you have Stephon Wynn, Christian Barmore, Tavita Masika, the JUCO guy you bring in from College of San Mateo in California. There's some depth at that spot, but Quintin Williams, at 6'4", 289 pounds, showed me over the weekend I'm more than just a finesse player. I can provide some brute power, and he showed that. And that's what Nick Saban wants, somebody that can collapse the pocket from the inside, pressure the quarterback, affect the passing game, along with stopping the run. And hey, what better than to have a Birmingham native take over for another Birmingham native that was in the very same spot the last 3 years and dominated. Pretty sure Quintin Williams wants to take over for Daron Payne. And what he showed at the open practice, showcasing that power, that quickness with his feet, the strong hand technique, I see him as the guy lining up at nose guard this upcoming season. Number 2, because of the power being shown at the open practice, I have Quintin Williams. As we travel to my number 3 guy on the list, Shaheen Carter is ready to be a starter and help control this Alabama secondary from his nickel spot. Last year, he was the better system fit at star. It was the better system fit. Tony Brown, due to him being a senior, him being the most emotionally invested player under Nick Saban, and the fact that Coach Nick wanted to give Brown a chance. He wanted to give Brown another opportunity to end his career at Alabama on a sound note. Tony Brown, who had been in Nick Saban's doghouse a number of times, Nick really wanted to give Tony one final last hurrah to really show that I've changed, I've humbled down, I've become mature, I have bought in. And Tony Brown did some pretty good things last season. However, when you talk about system fit, as far as the best player to play in that spot schematically, that was Shaheen Carter. And it wasn't even close. No question about that. Shaheen Carter at 6 feet, 195 pounds, coming out of Kentwood, Louisiana. Keep in mind, this was a consensus 4-star prospect. This was somebody that was number 48 on the ESPN 300. Very talented young man. And at the open practice, secured 2 interceptions, picked off Tua and Jalen. Looked very smooth and deceptive in doing it. And he also helped Patrick Surtain pick off Mac Jones. Now, Surtain's feet were out of bounds upon him securing the football, but it was Shaheen Carter who kind of guided him to the spot. So with that being said, Carter, in terms of being able to lead by example, lead on the field, help get guys lined up, and also him being more of a strategic fit in that nickel spot, very impressed with Shaheen Carter. This is his time. This is going to be his year in the secondary to really emerge, step up, make plays. He's taking on a leadership role, reading schemes, calling defenses, changing some plays. I like Shaheen Carter, number 3 guy. Number 4 player that stood out to me, the open practice, punter Skyler DeLong. It's not going to be easy to replace a legend like J.K. Scott. Was a legend. But for us that watch Crimson Tide football, it's never easy to replace anybody that's been a legendary guy. We've always wondered, at linebacker, when you lost Rolando McClain, nobody can replace Rolando. Rolando was Mr. Everything. Who is going to replace that type of talent? And then in comes Donta Hightower saying, I can do it. And we were kind of skeptic about Donta Hightower. He proved himself. And then once Donta left, you're like, well, Rolando was good and Hightower was good. We don't know who could be the guy that could step in and replace those 2 guys and have that alpha male mentality. Here walks in C.J. Mosley. Then after him, here walks in Reggie Ragland. Here walks in Reuben Foster. Here walks in Rashaan Evans. And now we got Mack Wilson. Like, every time you think the person that's departed, nobody has that mentality, that talent, that mindset to come in, feel that space, and keep the tradition going. Here comes somebody else that Nick Saban recruited, signed, brought in, that's able to answer the bell. It's happened at linebacker, it's happened at running back, it's happened at wide receiver, it's happened. And now, at the punter position, you look at Skyler DeLong, can he answer the bell? I think he can. When you have a guy like Jeff Banks as your special teams coach, punted in high school, punted in college at Washington State University, helped the Cougars reach the Rose Bowl in 1997 as he averaged 43.4 yards a punt, and he's been a special teams guru throughout every coaching stop he's been. I think Skyler DeLong is going to be A-OK. During the open practice, he boomed 3 attempts toward the end. All 3 of them went 60 yards. Had some pretty good hang time on those last few punts, squeezing guys. Skyler DeLong is going to be A-OK. That was my number 4 guy that stood out to me. His ability to get that hang time on those punts, booming them, a couple of those, at least 60 yards. Last but not least, rounding this out at number 5, the individual that impressed me, true freshman wide receiver Jalen Waddell. This young man from Bel Air, Texas is as good as advertised. I know Nick Saban mentioned he will be used as a true slot receiver at 5'11", 177 pounds. I know he's small, but that's why Scott Cochran is on staff. Scott Cochran will put the weight on him. I'm not even concerned about that. My concern is he as dynamic with the ball in his hands in space as we've been reading about? The answer is a resounding yes, he is. On special teams, I watched Jerry Jeudy muff a punt. God bless him. I watched Xavier Marks muff a punt. I watched Jalen Waddell look the ball in every time a punt came. I watched Jalen Waddell. It's a natural field for him to look up, catch the ball, look down, go. It's natural. I'm not going to use the word elite because that word's thrown around too loosely and too much. I'm going to say he has a distinct acceleration. He has a distinct speed to where you look at it and you automatically identify that speed. That's acceleration. That's elusiveness. That is prime time, game-changing quickness. And Jalen Waddell has it. On special teams, he's got it at wide receiver, the ability to work in space. This man's the real deal. Don't care about his size at 177. Scott Cochran's got that. The speed, the hands, the ability to make people miss, the distinct qualities of being elusive. Jalen Waddell has it all. That young man is a complete package. Running back over this again, folks. I've stated my 5 names. Write them down, circle them, put a star by them. Here they are once again. Quarterback, Mac Jones. All steak, no sizzle. Kid can play. Defensive lineman, Quintin Williams. Showcasing that power. He will replace Daron Payne at defensive tackle. Defensive back, Shaheen Carter. Now is his time. He's calling plays from star. He's getting guys lined up. He understands the system. He's deceptively create interceptions. 4, punter, Skyler DeLong. He is going to be just fine. Flipping the field will be tough to replace the legend in J.K. Scott. I believe Skyler DeLong will answer the bell. Last but not least, Jalen Waddell. Kid is the real deal. Distinct acceleration, speed, elusiveness, natural ability with the ball in his hands in space. Take another break here on In My Own Words. When we get back, I will discuss with a special guest coming up the comments from Jalen Hurts and how I felt about them and what should be felt about them, and was he right in what he said in terms of the open practice / fan day. Keep it locked right here, folks. It's In My Own Words. We'll be right back. It's your boy, Stephen M. Smith, host of In My Own Words, the podcast. If you are a fan of this show, then I encourage you to subscribe to the Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube channel. Also follow the brand on Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of social media as we continue to bring you the best in Alabama football and Crimson Tide athletics.